Tesla's new robot brain didn't leak. No secret file, no insider. What they confirmed in plain sight is bigger than any leak, and it changes who builds the future. Stay till the end. If you've been online this month, you've seen the thumbnails. Tesla bot, Gen 3, a leaked AI update, a secret chip, and a robot that's supposedly about to change everything. The word in every title is the same: leaked. As if someone smuggled a file out of a lab in the dead of night. Here's the truth, and it's going to sound strange. There was no leak. And once you understand why, you'll see something far more important than any stolen document. The real reason Tesla just bet its entire future on this machine. Let's kill the myth first, cleanly. Every single leaked spec you've seen, the new hand, the AI5 chip, the new brain, came from a public source. The hand design? It's in a patent, filed with the world's patent office, published in April 2026, with a document number anyone on Earth can type into a search bar and read tonight. The chip? Confirmed by Elon Musk and Tesla's own AI vice president, on the record, on earnings calls broadcast to millions. None of it was whispered. All of it was announced. So why does every video scream leak? Because leak gets the click. Calling a press release a leak is a magic trick. It makes public information feel forbidden, and forbidden gets watched. I'm telling you this up front because the real story doesn't need the lie. It's bigger without it. Because here's what is real, and it's a genuine leap. On January 21st, 2026, Tesla started mass-producing the Gen 3 Optimus at its Fremont factory, and three things inside it actually matter. First, the hands. This is the upgrade Musk himself summed up in 3 words. This bot got hands. The old version had 11 points of movement per hand, with bulky motors crammed into the palm, which made the wrist heavy and wrecked fine control. Gen 3 throws that out. It copies human anatomy. All 25 actuators that drive each hand are pulled back into the forearm, and metal tendons run through the wrist to move the fingers, exactly like the tendons in your own arm. The result is 22 degrees of freedom per hand, closing in on the human hand's 27. With force sensors in every fingertip, the number of distinct tasks it can attempt jumped from around 500 to over 3,000. A 6-fold leap from one hardware change. Second, the brain. There's a new chip called AI5, and it just finished its final design stage. Musk says a single one has roughly 5 times the useful computing power of the pair of chips in the last generation, and the whole package is about 8 times more raw compute with 9 times the memory. Why does that matter? Because a robot folding laundry can't wait half a second for a cloud server to answer. It has to think on its own body, instantly. AI5 carries 192 gigabytes of memory right on the chip, so the entire AI lives inside the robot. And to make sure one factory or one country can't choke the supply, Tesla is building the chip in 2 places at once, in Arizona and in Texas. Third, and biggest, the way it thinks changed completely. Tesla ripped out the old style of robotics, where engineers hand-coded exact joint angles, line by line. Gone. In its place is what they call a vision-language-action model, the same approach that drives Tesla's self-driving cars. You speak a plain command, like, sort the defective parts into the red bin. The robot's onboard version of Grok understands what you meant, the cameras find the objects in 3D space, and the network outputs the exact force to do it. No script. And training all of this is a new supercomputer at Giga-Texas called Cortex, drawing 250 megawatts of power, enough for around 100,000 high-end GPUs, running behind a $500 million battery wall so the Texas grid can't interrupt it. That supercomputer has a backstory worth knowing, because it shows how chaotic this race really is. Tesla's in-house chip dream, called Dojo, was abruptly shut down in 2025. Its leader and around 20 engineers walked out and started a rival company. For a moment, it looked dead. Then the new AI5 chip came together so well that Musk reversed course and restarted the program as Dojo 3. They're now even trademarking a modular AI data center to sell to others. Tesla blew up its own supercomputer and then rebuilt it. Now, the most seductive claim in this whole story is fleet learning. The idea goes like this. One robot in Fremont learns a new trick, and instantly, every Optimus on Earth knows it too. A robot hive mind. It's a great line. It's also not true. Here's what actually happens. A single robot does something new. Say, it figures out a better way to sort battery cells. That discovery doesn't beam out to the fleet. It gets uploaded. The giant central network gets retrained on it over thousands of hours of computing, and then, this is the real bottleneck, human engineers have to test that update obsessively before it ships. Think about why. A flawed update pushed to a 57-kilo machine swinging high-torque arms next to human workers could kill someone. So they red team it. They stage it. They sign off. Only then does it go out to the fleet, the same way your car gets an overnight software update. It's fast compared to a human learning over years, hours, or days, but it is not magic, and it's locked to Tesla. An Optimus can't hand its skills to a robot from Figure or Boston Dynamics. The knowledge is a walled garden. And where does the very first skill come from, before any robot can copy it? From us. Humans strap into VR headsets and motion capture suits and physically perform the task, and the robot's network watches, matching what it sees to how the human moved. That viral clip of Optimus reacting to a kung fu master? That wasn't the robot improvising. That was the robot replaying a human's captured motion. But here's the clever part. Teaching by hand is slow, so Tesla built a second teacher. A simulator. Its AI chief revealed that Optimus now trains inside a synthetic world. Tesla calls them digital dreams, running through millions of physics-accurate scenarios without ever moving a real motor. The robot practices in its sleep. So far, this sounds unstoppable. Now let me be the honest broker and tell you everything it still can't do, because this is where the hype dies. Tesla has a long documented habit of faking it in public. At its big We Robot event in late 2024, the robots that poured drinks and traded jokes with the crowd weren't thinking. They were puppets, remotely piloted by humans off stage. And at a Miami event in December 2025, a robot handing out water bottles lost its balance and fell. As it toppled, its arms flew up in a very specific motion, exactly like a person ripping off a VR headset in a panic. That single gesture told everyone watching it was being driven by a human in a headset the whole time. Even when it's genuinely autonomous, it's slow. That famous laundry folding clip was real, but it ran at 1 to 2 times slower than a person folding at a lazy pace. It's brilliant in a clean, predictable factory, and lost in a messy home full of pets and kids and clutter. And don't take my word for it. Take Musk's. On the earnings call in January 2026, he told investors flat out that the timeline is literally impossible to predict, that progress would be quite slow, and that the factory robots today are, his words, primarily for learning, not productive tasks. They are not replacing anyone yet. And then there's the part no AI can fix, rocks and metal. Tesla wanted 10,000 robots built in 2025. It managed hundreds to low thousands. Why? Because in April 2025, China clamped down on exports of the rare earth magnets these robots depend on, and a single Optimus needs about 3.5 kilos of them to run its 50-plus motors. The most advanced AI on Earth is useless if you can't get the magnets to move the arms. If you want to know what a tech company actually believes, don't listen to the keynote. Watch who they put in charge. And in mid-2025, Tesla made the most revealing move of all. The head of the Optimus program left, and the robot was handed to Ashok Eluswamy, the man who already ran Tesla's self-driving car AI. In one stroke, Tesla fused its car brain and its robot brain under a single boss. The message was unmistakable. The eyes and instincts trained on millions of cars are being poured straight into the body of the robot. And the pressure behind it is enormous. Eluswamy reportedly warned his teams that 2026 would be the hardest year of their lives. He wasn't being dramatic. Musk's pay package, worth up to $1 trillion, is tied to Tesla hitting valuations that depend on robotaxis and on Optimus actually working. Meanwhile, the car business is wobbling. Core deliveries fell more than 8% in 2025 against fierce pressure from China's BYD. The stock is priced for a miracle. And the miracle they're selling is this robot. That's why analysts call 2026 the reckoning year, the year Tesla has to prove the machine is real. So does it change everything? Yes, but not the way the thumbnails mean. The robot is not about to become a sentient butler tidying your kitchen. What actually changed is something less magical and far more dangerous to Tesla's rivals: the ability to build these things by the million. In the spring of 2026, Tesla did something almost violent in its commitment. It shut down the production lines that built the Model S and Model X, iconic cars, at its Fremont factory and began converting that floor to build Optimus instead, aiming for 1 million units a year. As the new robots roll off that line, they don't go home. They go straight onto the factory floor, working 24 hours a day. Not to replace workers yet, but to do something quieter and more valuable. Every hour, they generate a flood of real-world data. What their hands felt, what their cameras saw, where they failed. And that data feeds the next version. Picture it. On the Fremont floor, where Model S sedans used to roll off the line, rows of humanoid robots now stand in pools of light, sorting and kitting through the night shift, watched by a handful of engineers. Nobody's getting their dishes done, but every robot is a sensor, quietly recording everything. This is the part competitors can't easily copy. A company like Figure builds genuinely impressive robots. Its AI arguably reasons better than Tesla's right now, and it's already working inside BMW's plants. But Figure has to ask permission to test in someone else's factory. Tesla owns its factories. It can throw thousands of robots onto its own floors, break them, measure them, and improve the design at a scale no outsider can match. Tesla committed $20 billion to this in 2026 alone and is expanding Giga Texas by over 5 million square feet. Right now, the software still lags behind the hardware. The hands are better than the brain that drives them, but with a data fire hose like that running every day, the brain catches up. That's the whole bet. So here's where this lands. The headline promised you a leak, a secret someone wasn't supposed to see. The reality is the exact opposite of a secret. It's a patent you can read, an earnings call you can stream, and a factory floor you can see from the road. There was nothing to sneak out, because Tesla wants you to look. And what you're looking at isn't a robot that woke up. It didn't get a soul. It got hands, a chip, and an assembly line built to make 1 million of itself. The leak was the magic trick, the flash of one hand that keeps your eyes off the other. The real move, done completely in the open, was this. The machine that builds the machines just switched on. So I'll leave you with the real question. Not whether a robot will fold your laundry next year, it won't. But this. When one company owns the factory, the chip, the brain, and an army of robots training inside its own walls, what happens to everyone trying to catch up from the outside? Tell me what you think in the comments. I read them. And if you want to see who's actually winning this race, the video on screen breaks it down next.